Hello, fire signs. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the Wheel of Fortune. This feels like destiny. I feel like something really huge is aligning for you right now, okay? This is a card of expansion. This is a card of serendipity. And now I think that, a lot of you may have been feeling lately like you're kind of at the bottom of the wheel, between the rubber and the road. This is the card that's saying everything is turning around, okay? We're going to be receiving more of the good stuff in life. This is a card of profit, prosperity, abundance, that Jupiter energy, right? Expanding all of the good things in your life. I think with this card, we need to be careful that we don't overinflate, right? That things don't go to too much of an excess in our lives. But this is the card that's saying Spirit is putting people, places, and things on your path when and where you need them. It's up to us to understand what to do with those people, places, and things, We have to ride this, this is kind of a Ferris wheel, right? We have to ride it all the way to the top. We have to know what to do when we get there. This is a card of change. This is the card of divine timing, okay? I think you're somebody who has a very intimate relationship with divine timing, okay? I think that things aren't always convenient for you, but you take things as they come and you say, okay, well, this might not be how I would have scheduled my life, but this is what's happening, and I need to do it. And I need to get into it and take advantage. I need to engage, okay? I think you're somebody that is ready for the good stuff. I think you've been working hard, and even, again, if we felt like we've been at the bottom, I feel like we haven't been giving up. We haven't really even been complaining that much. It's kind of like we know that if I just keep doing the right stuff, the universe will kick in and I'll get those opportunities. And when those doors open, you've got to be ready to walk through. Let's put this card into a little bit of context, all right? We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. We got a 3 of Pentacles. Something's definitely in motion. We have a 4 of Cups. Ooh, a 10 of Swords, okay. And a Princess of Swords. And we have a Prince of Cups. Over here, yeah, there's the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is the one who is at the bottom of the wheel, feeling like they're getting ground down beneath the Wheel of Fortune, right? Ooh, a Hierophant in the environment, okay. We have a Sagittarius power card. So for all you Sagittarius folks out there, that is one of your superpower cards, okay? It's the Queen of Wands. And finally, ooh, look at that, 9 of Pentacles. Things are increasing. Gain, profit, prosperity. Things are moving in the right direction. See, we have the 3 here, which is, the 3 is really the work. Doing the work, focusing on what kind of progress we need to make, whether this is physical, financial, mental, emotional, or spiritual, creative work. Doing the work on one plane, in that particular dimension of life, is going to lead to profit and gain and progress in the other planes, the other dimensions of life. Doing something spiritual creative, right? Doing some spiritual creative work is going to help your mental emotional life and your physical financial life. And conversely as well, doing the physical work, working on your health, working on your career, your finances, is going to also lead to profit and prosperity and progress on the mental, emotional, and the spiritual creative planes. Everything is everything. Everything is interconnected. Working on one part of your life you're basically working on the other parts too, okay? And that's what this card is kind of symbolizing right now. It's like, where are we putting in that work? The universe, the Wheel of Fortune is ready to bring us those people, places, and things that we need. What are we focused on? What is the work that we're doing right now? Okay, and let's put our efforts in to that realm. Now, this doesn't mean that you're just going to focus on money and you're not going to do your physical health and you're not going to worry about your mental health or you're not going to do your spiritual practice. No, but this is saying, like, let's recognize where we are making the progress, and really more so, let's recognize where Spirit is giving us the doorway, the open doorway, or the opportunity to make some progress in a particular realm. Okay, Spirit could have some financial doors wide open for you, but you're more focused on, let's say, your creative work or your spiritual practice, which again is all good, right? Everything is everything. But don't miss out on those financial doorways or relationships, mental, emotional plane. Maybe there's some relationship doorways that are there, but you're focused on work. So this is really just about us recognizing where Spirit is sort of opening the pathway for us. Is there a financial thing, or is there a health thing that you have the opportunity for, or you have a chance to make some real progress? But we've been more focused on relationships, let's say. Okay? So this is all about being open and aware of every doorway, taking full advantage. Now let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with, well, maybe not the little sea turtle friend today. I think we're going to use our fire ant, right? Big red ant for the fire sign people. All you Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius people. This is your mystery card. We're not going to look at it until the end, but it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. All right, let's do it together. Let's use our intuition. Okay, now, looking around the room, we see 1, 2, 3 major arcana energies. Okay. We see the Wheel of Fortune, the Hanged Man, which the Hanged Man really is your general energy, and this is what we're ready to turn around. Okay, we're not going to be suffering and sacrificing any longer. Spirit is saying the right people, places, and things are coming your way. I feel like with the Hierophant in the environment, you may be encountering a type of teacher that is going to enter your life and really give you the wisdom, the knowledge, the skill, the communication, the synchronicity that you need. I think is going to come through somebody. Maybe we feel as if they might be older and wiser than we are, okay? Or somebody that has been, around the block, somebody that's been through it, somebody that has more experience than we do. They're going to be able to give us that sort of confirmation or that key word or phrase, or they're going to literally be opening the doorway for you, okay? So we also have fire. Not a lot of fire, even for a fire sign reading, right? Not a lot of fire. And I feel like we kind of need more of that. We need more of the fire, yeah? We've got, obviously, our water and our water. The Hanged Man is some heavy water. I think that we've been going through a pretty heavy emotional situation lately. We have our air cards over here, and we've got our earth cards over here. Okay. Where to even begin? Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Three of Pentacles. This is a card called Work, and this is in the position of your battlefield. Because there's something that you're being sort of summoned to do in your life, but I think that we've been in kind of an emotional state, okay? Because we see something kind of going on here with these 3 cards at the bottom. Something has ended for you recently, okay? I think I got there's some wax on my cards here. I'm burning candles in here. There's something that ended recently, okay? There was a revelation that took place in your life, and now it's something that you're processing, okay? And I feel like we're lingering in the emotions a little bit. And I think that's why we have our Queen of Wands, which is all about how we end things, how we process an ending. And, of course, we have our Four of Cups, which is kind of feeling like I'm just trying to be okay. I'm just trying to stabilize my emotions and like kind of calm down how I feel. I'm trying to regulate those emotions. But meanwhile, the Three of Pentacles is saying there's work for you to do. Okay? Something is aligning itself for you, and you don't want to miss out on this. Okay? Now, one of you has a thing for spiders, that you do not kill house spiders. Who does anymore, right? Unless they're like really threatening my family, we let them be. Spiders are good luck. I feel like you're like really adamant about that. Like you'll see other people and you'll say, don't hurt that spider. And you're the one that kind of picks them up and takes them outside and stuff, right? Maybe even just in your hand. I don't know. That seems risky to me. I usually use like a business card or a sheet of paper or something, They kind of put them in the grass or in the bushes outside. But anyway, the Three of Pentacles is saying that there's work to do. That something is aligning for you that's going to require your blood, sweat, and tears. We've got to be fired up. We got to get ready. And in order to be ready, we have to let go of whatever's behind us now that we're getting out of, because that's holding us back. So I feel like we're kind of in the middle of some mental, emotional thing that's preventing us from seeing the doorway we need to see, right? Three of Pentacles is a card that says it'll work if you do the work. If you do the work, this is going to be good. So what in your life have you been not doing? Because we're in this emotional process, we're kind of dealing with our feelings. We're steeped in this ending of something. There's work on the table. And Spirit's saying if you do that work, your life will change, your life will expand, your life will grow in unbelievable ways. Spirit can lead us to these opportunities, but can't make us partake. Spirit does not need our approval for the divine timing, doesn't even really need our participation. The opportunity is here, the train is here, the doorway is open, you either go through it or you don't. It's not going to stay open forever, and it's not going to wait, So I think that this is really, this is something that we've been perhaps not taking advantage of, or we've sort of slowed down on our attention that we've been giving some other aspect of our life, because we're dealing with we're steeped in the emotions of an ending. Okay, and that's kind of we're steeped in the emotions of an ending, rather than just putting it behind you quickly as possible. That's the Queen of Wands work. Okay, we got to do that work right now with this Three of Pentacles. It could be that there's a physical or financial opportunity that's on the table for you to make some progress and to really start profiting and succeed. Maybe this is a physical fitness, maybe this is a financial win. But we're not taking advantage of that because we're steeped here. We're steeped down here in these two, the Hanged Man and the Four of Cups. This gets a little sticky when these two get together, right? So the Four of Cups down beneath the surface, this is kind of like the underlying emotional tone of your life right now. And this is kind of like, I'm just trying to be okay. I'm not terrible. I'm not great. I'm just sort of okay. I'm like this, más o menos, right? The Four of Cups is kind of the storm shelter. Okay, the storm shelter, the big storm, what do? You kind of leave everything you were doing and you run downstairs where it's safe, right? A storm shelter, you got, a basement or bunker, whatever it is. And you sort of, you abandon what you're doing. As you're up there doing a crossword puzzle, you're up there sewing something or whatever, you're cooking food. And there's a big storm, you got to go down in the storm shelter. What do you do? Well, you turn off the stove. Of course, turn off the stove. But then you kind of leave everything where it is, right? And you rush downstairs and where it's safe. You wait for the storm to pass. I think Spirit's kind of telling you that, like, the storm's past now. We got to go back upstairs and continue doing what we were doing. Okay? Because we have a real opportunity now to make some good progress. Spirit's not trying to rush you through any kind of an emotional, processing. But Spirit, I think, through these cards is saying that this opportunity is here, and if you get back to it, as soon as you're ready, as soon as possible, things are going to be really good for you. There's going to be a lot of progress, a lot of gain, a lot of success. Yeah. The Four of Cups is, there's no holes in the boat. Boat's not sinking. But there's no party on the boat either. I'm just trying to maintain, I'm just trying to get through the day, and it's kind of, it's a little bit cold and icy. This is a little bit like, I'm happy just if at the end of the day I didn't have any disasters. Okay, it's like we're not expecting very much out of life with this card, because we're not taking advantage of what's out there, because we don't want to get into another storm, or we've been through a storm and now we're just kind of like, I don't want any more storms. I'm just going to stay here where I feel okay. And we kind of have a flat and monotone demeanor. Okay? Because we're not taking advantage, and maybe we're not ready for that, or we're not so excited about running into another storm. Okay. Now, what is it that you carry in your pockets? Spirit's saying that you carry something in your pockets, like a charm, or like some buttons, or something that is kind of like a magical object. If maybe it's crystals, a stone, maybe it's rocks, or it's a lucky penny, or something you carry in your pocket that's like meaningful. Okay. The Four of Cups, again, this is us being steeped in that emotion of that ending, and not really getting back to business, not really getting back to our sort of ecstatic, engagement with life. I mean, we're not ready for that yet. And maybe we realize now we've been in the storm shelter for a little bit of time, okay? Now, the ending that we're talking about is this Ten of Swords, which, interestingly, the Ten of Swords as a Sun in Gemini card, it is talking about an ending. Okay, some plan, some course, some trajectory that we were on has been ruined, right? Something's been derailed. But I think this card really is a blessing in disguise. To me, this card is the birdcage card. To me, this is the I dodged a bullet kind of card. Something has ended, and we're feeling upset. We're feeling like, not even upset, really. Because, see, this isn't a 5 of Cups. It's a 4. We're feeling a little bit numb, right? Maybe it's just like, I don't know how to feel. So we're kind of, it's almost like we're just existing in like almost a stupor, almost like a daze or a fog, like, I don't know how I feel, okay? Because this is something I think intellectually we're very aware that, yeah, this needed to end. This was like, there's nothing left here for me. To remain in this situation would have been pointless. This is the card where all these swords have no point. It's not hitting us in our heart anymore. All of these swords are trying to get to your heart, but they did not. Their points were broken off, right? And so it may be that what we're trying to do is prevent ourselves from really feeling. We're trying to fortify our heart. So any of these words, phrases, these communications, these feeling kind of, energies, the facts, right, maybe that are coming in, are not going to bother us. Something is going to pierce our heart, and ping, the tips of the swords break right off. Okay, it's like we got that emotional armor on. Nothing is getting through to our heart, right? And so we could be lingering in this kind of fog a little bit because we haven't let ourselves really feel how we need to feel about this. Something ended. Intellectually, we may say, yeah, it's good that it ended. I'm glad. Go on, get out of here. But emotionally, it could be that we need to process those feelings. Let's get them out, and let's do it as fast as we can, because we got work to do, It may be that we have to process this emotional work so that we can get back to the task at hand, get back to our great work, and take advantage of the opportunities. Okay, so Spirit might be saying that, look, you're at the bottom of the wheel, right? You feel like some road has ended for you. I think intellectually you're trying to just be kind of like stoic. You're trying to say, I'm glad it ended. I didn't need it. I didn't want it. It was a dry hole. It was a desiccated thing. It didn't affect me at all. I don't feel anything for this anymore. There's no meat left here. There's nothing for me here. Okay, good. Intellectually, sure. This one here, Princess of Swords. But with the Four of Cups, it's kind of like saying we got to do that emotional. We have to let ourselves feel how we feel. Only then can we get back on the horse and start moving forward, feeling this authenticity of the Prince of Cups. Because the Prince of Cups now is saying, yeah, I feel how I feel about this, and my feelings aren't going to hold me back. I'm not going to deny how I feel. I'm not going to let my feelings drive the boat. But I'm not going to suppress how I feel either. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. It's kind of like saying, okay, well, where are the tears? Where are the emotions? Where is the, where are you processing some of these feelings, right? Some of this emotional experience. So I feel like we're steeped in this experience, but we haven't had that cathartic experience that would allow us to move forward. Could be that we just need a big cry over it or something, right? But the 10 of Swords is that birdcage card. I feel like you got out of something that you didn't need to be in. And intellectually, I think you know that. And maybe that's why it's kind of like, I don't want to feel anything. I don't want to feel sad about this. I'm glad it's over. I didn't want it anyway. There was nothing here for me. It's a dry, desiccated sort of path. There was nothing nourishing about it anymore. Maybe there was at one point or something, but at the end, there was nothing left, right? It doesn't mean that you can't feel how you feel about it. It doesn't mean that we have to deny, I feel sad. No, I shouldn't feel sad about this. Some people will come along and they'll say, why are you crying? You didn't want that anyway. It's kind of like, dry your tears. This was nothing. This was a waste of time. You shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't be upset about this, right? Be glad it's over. Be happy that it's gone. Well, intellectually, you may know that. Yeah, I know logically I don't need to be here anymore, but for anybody to tell you not to feel your feelings, that's a mistake. Stay away from that person, okay? Because you can believe something and acknowledge something intellectually, but you can still feel sad that it's over. You can still feel confused and hurt and upset and all these kinds of things, and you're allowed to feel those things. So let this thing go by processing those feelings and not trying to contain your feelings or deny them or convince yourself, I shouldn't feel sad, hurt, upset, disappointed, angry, whatever, right? I shouldn't feel fill in the blank. I think that's a very dangerous statement. Or if somebody was saying that to you, you shouldn't feel this way. Well, I feel how I feel. Doesn't mean I'm going to go back to this and cling to this. It doesn't mean I'm going to try to resurrect this old path. I know it's a dead end and that was it, that fell apart, derailed, fine. I can still feel how I feel, okay? Anyway, the Princess of Swords is up here, I think, dealing with some of those people, maybe, questions, the discussion about this ending. So I think you're somebody that, yes, you intellectually you're very aware. I think that you can see the necessity of something. I think you still have questions. I think it may be that we're kind of wanting some sort of closure about it. This is a card of curiosity. This is a card of learning. This is a card of kind of, asking questions. And I think this is really a card of forgiving ourselves in a way. Giving ourselves a room to not know the answers and to really admit that sometimes there are no answers. Why did the 10 of Swords have to be a 10 of Swords? Why couldn't it have been a 10 of Cups or a 10 of Pentacles or even a 10 of Wands, It had to be a 10 of Swords. Why? Why did that end in such a lackluster way? Okay? Sometimes it just is the way it is. Sometimes it's Spirit clearing things out of your life so that better things can be there. And maybe we're not talking about a relationship at all. Maybe we're talking about a business deal or a job or any kind of a path that you were on. Okay? Spirit's saying, yeah, you know what? This has been removed from your life for a reason. There is divine timing here because what you're moving forward with is going to mean so much more to you, and it's going to lead to so much more engagement, so much more profit. 9 of Pentacles. So you got the 10 of Swords, but where you're going now is leading you to a 9 of Pentacles. So that seems like a much better option going that way, right? So the Princess of Swords is, I think, trying to ask these questions. We're kind of we're still lingering in this past where what we really need to do is move forward and do this work and start focusing on the work that we can do right now. Okay, because this is done. In the future position, authenticity, Prince of Cups. By processing how you feel, and even if it's like, I know this wasn't good for me, I know that this wasn't where my future was held, and that's okay, I can let this go. I need to feel how I feel, and I need to be allowed to feel how I feel. So this is somebody who's really in touch with their emotions. This is somebody that's not trying to compartmentalize or hide who they are. This is somebody who's being authentic. This is me. This is how I feel. And, you know, maybe this is kind of through the process of getting in touch with your emotions, you're realizing that, yeah, I don't really care about that Ten of Swords as much. You know, the last thing we want to do is be stuck in the storm shelter, not sure of, I can't go back, but I can't go forward. I'm kind of stuck in the middle, right? I'm stuck down here in the storm shelter. Maybe we get out of the storm shelter, we look around, we think, hey, it's not that bad. I don't really mind. This thing's over. I actually feel better. I feel a little bit more free. I feel a little bit more like I can be myself, you know. And now I'm kind of like, wow, I'm free to sort of move forward into this other path or this other relationship or other venture, do this other work, and that is much more in line with who I am. Okay, we don't want to deny ourselves that emotional experience. And maybe this is the authenticity too, that, you know, moving forward, we realize that I'm always going to be sad about that thing ending. Okay? It's all about knowing how you feel and being okay with that. Are you happy that thing's over? Are you sad that that thing's over? Somewhere in the middle? Okay? So a little happy, a little sad, fine. But you need to know that. This card is about emotional truth. Emotional truth, right? The only way that you can move forward into all this prosperity and profit and progress with that Wheel of Fortune is for you to accept how you feel and move forward. Maybe it's like, I'm happy this is over, but I feel guilty for being happy. Or maybe you feel sad and you feel broken up about it, but your friends or your family are saying, no, you should be happy. Don't be sad, dry your tears, right? Don't let anybody kind of try to change your emotions or tell you that they're wrong, okay? Now, you don't want to let your emotions drive the boat, but you need to drive the boat fully accepting that's how I feel about that thing. We're still moving forward, right? We're still going forward, but we have owned our emotions, and we don't, we're not afraid of them. We're not hiding them. We don't feel guilty about them. I feel how I feel. And I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to do what needs to be done. I'm going to do the work. Path of the Serpent. We're talking about these cards, General Energy, Hanged Man. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free, and it really does support the channel, and I really appreciate you. So the Hanged Man is the one who's at the bottom of the wheel. Suffering, sacrifice, loss, feel that we're sort of, you know, almost that we're, between these two cards, it feels like we're the victims of fate. Things happen in the world and I suffer. Things are happening to me, right? The universe is giving me a lot of bad luck. I don't think it's like that at all. I think once we sort of realize what Spirit has removed from our lives and what that reveals, it's kind of like our life is full of all this stuff. You have this clutter of boxes in your house, right? You just have stuff in the corner there. Once you clear those boxes out of the way, guess what? You find like a little doorway, you know, to a new universe. Okay? Once the old stuff is kind of cleared away and we've decluttered, we can really see the treasure that's there. Yeah, I think this is a blessing in disguise, whatever the ending is. But the Hanged Man, I think, is kind of accepting the feelings, but we don't want to sink down into those. This is kind of a yielding. This is an acquiescence. This is kind of a almost a surrender and like waving the white flag, saying, you know, this is I don't need to do anything from here. This is just what my life is. This is the end of the road for me. No, it was the end of the road for something, but it's not the end of the road for you. Okay. The Hanged Man is also doing something else. It's accepting the Wheel of Fortune. The Hanged Man and the Wheel of Fortune, I think, are very important cards. Of course, so is the High Priestess in the mix of these ones. And the Hanged Man is surrendering and accepting what life brings us. Kind of choosing to believe that everything happens for a reason. See, the Wheel of Fortune is just the wheel. It's fortune. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You know, these are all the things in life that we cannot control. Spirit brings us people, places, and things, puts them on our path when and where we need them. The Hanged Man is saying, okay, I'm choosing to trust in the Wheel of Fortune. And once we do that, then we're no longer we're no longer steeped in this ending. We're processing it. We feel how we feel. Of course we do. But we're saying, okay, I need to keep going. I'm choosing to believe that this happened for a reason, that Spirit was removing something from my life so that something better can arrive. Okay? And that brings us to our Hierophant in the environment. This is a card of wisdom. This is the card maybe of, I feel like it's like an older and wiser person that's going to show you the way. Okay? So they may be a Taurus person. So look out for a Taurus person in the next few days, or anybody that seems like they have the knowledge or the expertise or the advice or the right kind of counsel that you need in order to take advantage of what opportunity is around you. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to go back to school or to learn something, or in a way it is kind of like saying, you know, this ending that you're going through, not only how does it feel and how do you feel about it, but the Hierophant might be saying, like, you really learned a lot. It's not a wasted experience. Don't let anybody tell you that this was a waste of time or that this was pointless and that you wasted your time being there. I think the Hierophant is here to say, no, you came out the other side of that a different person. That you, just through the experience of that situation, you've grown. And that growth and that experience and that wisdom for you is going to take you through the next phases of your life, okay? I do think that there is some kind of a teacher that is approaching you. And it may be a teacher who doesn't even know that they're teaching you. Maybe somebody that just says one random word that something clicks for you. Okay? But the answer is out there. I think we have to look. We have to start, looking outside. We have to get through this situation, this ending, and we have to start casting our gaze on what is outside of us. This is the card in the environment. This is the card in the relationship position for you. Sometimes this is how you're looking at the environment. Okay? And sometimes we may be looking at the world and thinking, gosh, everybody is so much smarter than me. I should have known better than to stay here. That's not the right way to look at it. Okay? Look at the world, look at the universe as everybody has their lessons to learn. And the sooner that we learn them, the sooner we can get on to the good stuff. The sooner the profit will come in. Okay? Maybe this is a business thing. Maybe this is your work performance. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe the project you were working on didn't work out. Maybe we went in for a promotion. We didn't get it. Whatever. The Hierophant is trying to show you that everything is a learning experience. And if we accept everything that comes our way via the Wheel of Fortune, everything that we cannot control, all we can control is our reaction to it, we're going to be way better off. We're going to be able to take advantage of everything that the universe brings us. Every person, place, or thing that's brought your way or even removed from your path is an opportunity for you to grow and learn and progress. We have to go through the Queen of Wands. This is the card that's looking at the past and trying to process an ending. This is the fear, worry, concern. This is the obstacle. This is the difficulty for you. Because the Queen of Wands goes through an ending and just is, I'm done. Okay, fine, put it behind me. I'm going to move on. So this is what's hard for you. It's hard for you to just do that clean break and say, okay, that's behind me. What's next? The Queen of Wands doesn't really process the ending. Just rips it off quick like a Band-Aid and say, okay, I'm done. What's next? It's still stinging. It still hurts, but I'm going forward. Okay, that's how the Queen of Wands processes an ending. Very quickly. Takes the pain with them into the future, into whatever's next. Doesn't the Queen of Cups, on the other hand? The Queen of Cups is lingering. The Queen of Cups is slowly peeling off the Band-Aid. Feeling every feeling, isn't moving forward until it processes all of that pain. So it may take days, weeks, months, years to process all that pain until the thing fully goes away and fully heals. Think of you have a little scrape on your arm or something, right? Climbing trees or whatever, yeah. And you scratch your arm on the tree, and now you're sitting down beneath the tree, and you're looking at the wound, and it's hurting more, and you're waiting for it to heal. Once it stops hurting, The Queen of Cups will get up and climb the tree again. But the Queen of Wands falls down the tree, scrapes up their arm, ouch, that hurts, starts climbing the tree again, with all the pain anyway, right? And just says, it's going to heal when it heals. I'm not going to let it hold me back. I'm not going to deny the pain necessarily either, but I'm not going to let it slow me down. And that's what's difficult for us right now. But this is the energy we need. I hope that makes sense, because profit, prosperity, and progress is in your future here. We have our 9 of Pentacles, growth, right? Growth and success, and whether this is physical or financial, but it's happening in every dimension of your life, every level of being, physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative, progress. Okay? But we've got to re-engage with that work, whatever the work is, whether it's creative work, emotional, mental work, relationship work, right? Or physical, financial work. Whatever the work is for you right now, re-engage with it. Because Spirit's saying, the wheel is still turning. This happened for a reason. Something has been removed from your life. Something new is coming, but you have to engage with that wheel of fortune. Okay, you have to be almost like the transmission for that wheel. Yeah, like the wheel's turning, but it's like we've got to, I don't know, we've got to put the car in gear, or we've got to like put the rubber back on the road, or I don't know what the analogy is there, but this is a card of visible signs of progress, that you will see your life getting better and better and better now. This feels like destiny, feels like something huge is aligning for you. We've got to get on with it, right? We've got to climb back on that wheel of fortune. There's going to be a lot of success, okay? Let's look at our mystery card, shall we? Oops. There we go. Big red fire ant. What do we want? Well, we could get some more fire signs. I think a Knight of Wands would be good. We might get maybe the Leo energy, right? The Strength card. We might get a fixed fire sign like a Prince of Wands. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's see what we have. The 3 of Wands, the 3 of you, the Aries, the Leo, the Sagittarius, the 3 of you here, poised on the edge of kind of like a new horizon, a new beginning, and knowing that like the only way forward is forward. This is a card of virtue. This is the card of identity. This is the card of saying, that thing ending, but you know, it ended, but it's not defining who I am. I know who I am, and I know what I want. I know what I'm capable of. We have the 3 and the 3, so we have the fire and earth, spiritual electrical circuit of creation. This is a combination that is really signifying manifestation. Get back to your manifesting. This could be that we tried to manifest something, it didn't work. Yeah, it wasn't the right timing. Get back on the wheel. Keep doing the work. Fire and earth here, right? Fire and earth right here. The timing is, it's kind of everything, right? So we may be looking at this situation and kind of like, you know, we're feeling our feelings about it. We have to acknowledge, at least, still feel how you feel. No one's trying to change how you feel about it. Or at least I'm not. The cards aren't. Spirit's not. You might have someone at home that's trying to tell you how to feel, okay? Feel how you feel, bottom line. But also know that divine timing is at play here. This didn't work out because it wasn't the right time, or it was time for it to be over, so that you could ride this wheel, ride this authentic wave, and get what is meant for you. So I like that we have the fire and earth here in these cards with this mystery card of virtue and identity and potential. You are a manifester. You are a magic maker. I think that's what I'm going to call our family here, right? The Dove and Serpent Tarot magic makers. Let me know in the comments if you like that phrase, right? Might be a little derivative, but I don't know. I like it. Magic makers. And I feel like this is you recognizing that if I apply my will, if I move forward with this intentional energy, I will succeed. I will get what it is I'm trying to manifest. The timing is not an accident. Okay? And the Three of Wands is us acknowledging that, getting fired up. I think that this is like, it's really good for the fire sign readings. I think this represents the three of you. You know, it's going to be good, but we have to focus our attention back on the work. See, that fire is the power of vision. It's our attention. It's our ability to look at something and focus on that and say, yeah, you know, my arm still hurts, but I'm going to climb the tree again. I'm not going to sit here on the grass and wait for my arm to heal or wait for it to stop hurting before I get back to climbing the tree. This is us looking at the tree and thinking, I'm climbing this tree. Okay? The show kind of must go on, right? Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. Okay, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There is a link down below in the video description. Yeah. Check the schedule for new readings for your signs. Okay, the schedule has changed a little bit. I'll post, you know, some reminders about what the schedule is. I kind of feel like every summertime I kind of go through this phase where I want to freshen things up and change a few things. So we have a lot of new channels that are coming out, a lot of new content coming out. So thank you so much for being part of the Dove and Serpent constellation of channels. Really do appreciate you. So be sure to watch your regularly scheduled readings on their days and times. These fire sign readings will come out every Saturday. Okay. Subscribe to the channels if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.